Hey, welcome back. My name is Jackie. This is Dream Ether. So I was kind of like doing like a sneak peek on what I was going to get myself into this this video, and I realized, okay, so I did a 12-month like a future reading for this year, and I did it on January 16th, and I was like, holy shit, isn't it like it's the 15th today? And it was at 3:30 a.m. and it's 3:30 p.m. right now. So I was like, all right, spirit, let's go. So here we are, getting ready to get into this energy. I just posted a couple new videos, and I always kind of I don't get drained, but I did just get a little sleepy just a second ago, but I think that Spirit will provide the energy that I need to get through this reading, or this, this is kind of a little bit of past as well, since we're already in April, so it's 4 months in already this year, but it's, you know, something that I'm feeling called to get out, so we're gonna see what the funk, okay? So I did, so the first month, so January, I pulled the 8 of Swords, and in January, so trapped and powerless, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, I really was going through these emotions of feeling very trapped and very, very powerless, surrounded by obstacles and threats on all sides. Perceptions keep you from, what is that? Opening your wings. Yeah. What's keeping you suspended here? Yourself or others? This demands an answer. You cannot hang here long. So this was speaking for me. This could be speaking for like an energy. I don't really want to go into the past, but I'm bringing this up because I think maybe a lot of people are experiencing the same thing, and I think that it could help. So in that way, that's my intention. I'm not trying to bring any of this energy back into your life. We are keeping it in the past, but to get up to date and to take a look at the future and what's to come, I kind of need to give some baselines, right? So in January, you know, I kind of had a heads up that something was going on, that we were going through a lot, that something was changing, and that this shift was really, I was really going to need to do a lot more work in myself if I was going to participate in this, you know, the new earth, you know. So there's some things that I was forced to face. So I did this reading, and at the time I was actually, you know, kind of struggling a lot. You know, I had a lot of harsh realizations about things in my life. Not only had things already been chaotic my entire life, but the realizations to further that, and some of the things that I had to come to understanding within myself, and, you know, reparenting myself, and some things, you know, that are, a lot of people go through that are unfortunate. But I took my power back. I really, 2 months prior to this, all I was doing was spending time chanting back, and, you know, like 3 times a day, you know, I take back my power. I call back my power from every timeline, from every portal, from every dimension, from every fragmented piece of reality, you know, and I just got really creative with any of the ideas, and the ones that, even the spaces in time that I wasn't aware of, that aren't even known anywhere in complexity, fragmented in this life and past lives, you know, I call it all back to me. And I did that for so many months. You know, I went through a lot of psychic attacks as well. I thought they had subsided once I got through Christmas, because actually, you know, some of the darkest, the veil is very thin from All Hallows Eve, the 31st, all the way up until Christmas, you know, early January. There's a lot of energies in that time that you know, especially this last year, that were that I personally believe I was meant to experience, so that I could be the example to help share how these things go, like spiritual attacks, and, you know, narcissists, and ancestral, you know, karma, and, you know, how to decipher the light and things from within yourself, and, you know, which ancestors you want to work with and things like that. So, I mean, because we all have history. So you just have to be aware of those things. So back to this, you know, at this time I knew that this was happening for me, but I really didn't want to face it, but I was really being really strong. So maybe that's what you were going through in January. And then February. So I was like, I got this download, and at the time I had given myself, I was like, nope, this is a 13 card spread for me, for right now. And so, but I was being guided to also do it as a 12, as a spread, you know, because I was going through so much. So just to give you an idea of what I was going through in January, trapped and powerless, the 8 of Swords, and it said the Death card, closure and transformation. And then I had the Tower, unexpected upheaval. I had sacrifice and letting go. I had period of contemplation and uncertainty, you know, honest, you know, and then I knew that I was honest and insightful, and that I was, you know, that forgiveness was needed, and, you know, like, that I was really in the beginning phases of something great, and that I had been sitting in stillness, and that I had, you know, really, that I had a really diplomatic and open mind about everything, and to continue to hold the strength in that time. And, you know, that there was some greed and some discontent, you know, going on. And, you know, I really had to come up with the courage and the inner strength at that time. So, now looking back in retrospect and seeing how this aligns with me, this is kind of like a triple, like trifold thing going on here, because, you know, so yeah, I really felt trapped and powerless. I had really had the intention to be in Maui by January. And before January, I had the intention to be in January, or to be in Maui a long time ago, but I had gotten sent home early because the trip, you know, I had gone really not right. So, you know, I had been there for a couple of months and got sent home because I got stranded on the island with no money and no phone. You know, things got misplaced, and a lot of escaping unfortunate events, and very dangerous, deadly situations that I got to the point where I ended up with nothing but my backpack and my body, you know. Anyways, so when I came back, my intention was to go right back immediately. And then right after I had been, you know, kind of on the island, my last known location before I had gotten, like, stranded and all my stuff, thank God. And also I pray for everyone in Lahaina that, that experienced the tragedy that they, you know, so unexpectedly didn't deserve, you know. However that may have occurred, it still doesn't, diminish the fact that something tragic happened there, and it was unexpected, and it wasn't fair or right. So, with that being said, you know, that was my last known location, and some of the events that had gone on the farm that I went to go, learn on, didn't go right. So we were kind of being watched. So it was kind of really fucked me up, right? Because I came back, I got sent home because there was nobody that could get access to my money. I had all this money in my bank account, but I had no way to get to it. My family didn't have the money to get to me, to get me money and all these things. So they devised a plan to get me back. You know, I had no ID, no wallet, no phone. So it was really hard. I had to go through a lot of hoops. A lot of different shit happened. It's so much so that I could write a book about it. Like, there could be a movie about it. Like, not that I, you know, want to glorify any part of certain things that happened, but a lot of things happened on that island that woke me up more than I was aware was possible. Anyway, so when I came back, I had intended to go back. And so it was like for months, every time I tried to align me going back to Maui, something happened. The fire happened almost like the next week after I had been, you know, emergency sent home because I had no resources. I couldn't get a job. I was trying everything I could to get jobs without an ID. You know, I tried to get jobs in Hana. I had a couple of interviews. I had one in Lahaina, you know, and it's kind of a fucked up story because, you know, there's a lot of uncertain things that happened last summer that are still up in the air. But anyway, I came back and I wanted to go back. I had a lot of investigative things I needed to figure out about the farm and what happened to the mom and all these things that went on that farm, and also kind of figure out the connection to the fires because I feel like there could have been. But that's just my own thing, side note from that. So I kept getting like, I've been being pulled to Maui for a long time. And so I keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then I keep getting these psychic attacks and all of these things. And I know that what the information that I'm sitting on about the farm and things that happened in Maui this last summer is a lot bigger than anyone is aware of at this moment. And it's been really hard for me to sit on this information. And it's been really hard for me to also figure out a safe way for me to share this information because it could be life-threatening for me. And it has been life-threatening for people before me. So with that being said, you know, I've been in a real like hermit mode trying to figure out who's working for what side, you know, how to really tune into this this connection that I have with spirit, because I asked for it when I was in desperation in the jungle. You know, and that has always been my life calling anyways, but I was like, I'm ready. I am so ready to start working for you and being what you need me to be and being the voice that you need me to be. So in a way, I feel like I know that everything I've gone through was meant for me to was meant to happen to me, because I have the voice now for a lot of things that I have yet to voice. So I had been trying to get to Maui. You know, I started, you know, kind of getting discouraged because I had a lot of things coming at me. You know, whether it's conscious or unconscious. You know, people doing spell work on you intentionally. You know, I have an ex that is very narcissistic, sociopath. And it was very violent and cannot stand the fact that I've moved on, and I know this, and so there's that, you know, aspect of things. But to go even deeper than just the narcissist sociopath thing, he's an incubus on a spiritual level, you know, comes from a long line of incubus. And so, you know, working through a lot of those things, they can feel you. They can feel you when you connect with someone else, when you love somebody else. If you're still connected to like a narcissist or an incubus or some sort of like energy vampire, they can feel that shit. They can literally feel it. Anyone who is siphoning off of you like that, they can feel it. So this is when I started getting really, like, I started to purge this parasite. And I actually, what's funny is I had gotten rid of the parasite, but then I gained a new parasite when I was in Maui. And I wasn't aware of it until recently. And that's been really hard. But also I've still gotten rid of, it's a cloudy situation. So yeah, I was really in a bad, trapped and powerless situation. I had sold my car, you know, my business I've been trying to launch for the last couple of years. I haven't actually launched yet because I feel like it's unsafe. I'm in the wrong surrounding. I'm around the wrong energy, you know, really been trying to figure out where this, you know, negative energy is coming from. Because when you start leveling up, whether it's, like I said, whether it's witchcraft, whether it's unconscious, or whether it's conscious energy of somebody just focusing on you and keeping you trapped in their mind, that has an energy effect, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're a light worker, because your channels are so open and receptive. That happens easily, and you must be aware of these things. So February, I was actually intending to move. I told my boyfriend, okay, fine. You know, my situation at my sister's house, it got to the point where they were like, hey, you're gonna have to start paying rent. And I was like so frustrated because all of these things are going on to try to keep me down. And I know I sound crazy, but I know that this isn't me being like, oh, the ops, all these things are keeping me down, because I fucking work hard every day to get past these things. And I do. But I'm aware of what they are, and only through what I've gone through have I become aware of what's what, you know what I mean? And so I actually, closure and transformation. So at the beginning, around February, I actually had to take a break from my relationship, and I was going through a thing, I told Spirit again, like, hey, I'm ready, please, I started doing a lot of alchemizing my energy at that time, and then, at the same time, I had been already aligning my chakras, doing a lot of higher self and super conscious and subconscious. I think it was called super and subconscious, like convergence hypnosis thing I did. That was like a 2 hours like a hypnosis that I did that literally like changed my life. I do stuff with the Akashic records. I do stuff that is very mystical and occult. And so I started doing this stuff once I got back from Maui, because I'm like really trying to figure out my mission. I know that what I have is all inside of me and it's all my experience, but I had to get through all of this to figure this out, and this is what has been going on for me. So you may have been going through some crazy things as well, which I am highly sensing that's true. So I had to go through a temporary breakup. I didn't want to go through that. I know that the person needed it. I needed it to get clarity, and so it happened. Side note, right? So February, you may have also taken back a lot of your energy. They were calling February the sacred pause. And so, like I said, I had wanted to move. I was now up against a wall because I had owed money. I had no money, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying to do everything for the betterment of like everyone else, but like I still hadn't like really gone really deep yet inside. So there we go, sacred pause. So I paused everything. I went in deep, so fucking deep, that I was having some really profound experiences, where I was brought to my knees with this profound energy from the sun in the middle of the night that brought me to my knees in the fetal position, but I was like so blissed out. And then I was confronted with a hall of doors, and it was like I was listening to a reading at the time, and the guy, it was Cosmic Kin, who literally has no idea until I tell him eventually when I finally reach out. But he was telling me about how like the sun itself is like giving me a download. It's like literally the sun itself is coming into me. And I was just like literally experiencing this on my floor. Like I can feel it. And it was just like, it brought me to tears, but it was so beautiful and blissful. I felt like an angel. And it like brought me even more alive. And at the same time, I felt like I could fucking catch things on fire if somebody tried to come at me the wrong way. It was like I was trying to figure out this new power within me that was like chaotic and loving at the same time. And I already have this association to being very associated with the goddess Aphrodite. I was born on an equinox. I was born on an equinox, the fall equinox, and also on a cusp of Aphrodite. So, and that's like the epitome of duality, right? Like light and dark. Not only that, like I was born on a new moon eclipse. I'm conjunct in like fucking Mercury, Venus, Mars, the moon, my sun. So anyways, that aside, there's some things that are going on. And not only that, I started to do these activations because when I got back from Maui, I had this awakening to me that I realized that I had been, I had lived there before, that is part of my destiny, that there was something in me. And then ancient Lemuria, ancient knowledge from Lemuria started coming through me, once I got home. And I started doing some real deep diving into Lemuria, which is a myth of an island, but which technically isn't a myth. There's proof. It's Maui actually is Lemuria, so that was the reason why I was called there. So many of these things are opening up for me, and at the time, like I said, I had to go through this breakup. And something in your life needs to end. It needs closure. This will happen whether you voluntarily or involuntarily. Positive transformation begins after initial forms of suffering have passed. So then we went into March, and last month, it was kind of like a tower moment. Brace yourself for a change. May be painful and confusing. It will be quick. You will look back and feel grateful things changed course. Personal breakthrough in the end. So, you know, that has been a lot of things have been changing for me. Now we have Mercury retrograde and we were going through the eclipse at this time. There's so many things. And I do believe that there is personal breakthrough in the end of all of this. And so now we're in April. Sacrifice and letting go. And the other day I've had to really decide whether or not I was going to stay in the situation that I was in romantically with somebody, because I needed to recognize if I was allowing myself to be fooled or if this person just needs time. And so I have to detach. And so right now, this is what's going on. And this is what I even, you know, knew was going to happen. Be a master of non-attachment. Naturally, you may want to resist and struggle through this. Find stillness, open your eyes, and use this perspective to learn something. And so, you know, in my own life, I use tarot. I use open verbal communication with my spirit guides. I take the intuitive hints from certain elementals around me, whether it's a bug, whether it's a plant, you know, whether it's literal dog shit that I step on, or like a bird shits on me. Like all of these things, I'm like, what is the spiritual meaning of this? What is the spiritual meaning of me losing this tooth? What is the spiritual meaning of me finding a blue feather? What's the spiritual meaning of me finding a white one, or a fluffy one, or a pink and white dotted one? Like everything I do in my life is for a spiritual a reason. I look for the spiritual, the symbolism in it. You know, I really feel like my life is in the Matrix. Like everything here is a tool. Look deeper. Decode the message. Exit the Matrix. So find stillness, open your eyes, and use this perspective to learn something. I think I'm just going to leave it there. And then I think I'm going to go into the prediction for next month and forward at a later date. I think that's enough information for now. I hope that this message has reached you and you are able to use my experience or some of the things, you know, that they resonate for you in a way that you can work with and move forward with. As always, I really appreciate all of the comments, likes, shares, and I love hearing any replies to anything. You know, as an empath and as a starseed light worker and somebody who works as a chosen one, you know, from no egoic situation, but being in that role, having, what does they say, having great, it's a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility, this is. So I don't take any, you know, thing like that. But being somebody who works with this, you are alone a lot. So I appreciate any kind words, anything that you would like to share, and also subscribing or liking and sharing any of this message. That would be wonderful. And I hope that you have a wonderful, blessed day, and that, you know, you just take it easy and enjoy yourself. Love you.